Hello guys and girls! Today we are going to be talking about a certain YouTuber that I have used to like, but now I completely dislike. Okay, we're going to be talking about none other than Mudahar. Mudahar has now been found out to be an absolute, in my opinion, liar. Now, I will go ahead and say I used to like Mudahar, and I liked his content about the North Korea. I liked his content about certain tech and certain ideas. But the second he backstabbed Nux, the millisecond that I saw that, I was like, nah, you ain't nothing now. Because, genuinely speaking, it made me really upset. Now that he did that, because it showed his true colors. But let's not get into that. So, this person, who I think is an absolute GOAT, made a video about Mudahar, and it is the most eye-opening thing ever. So, let's just go ahead and get into it.
Following some ordinary gamers or Mudahar's behavior the past year or so, you might have noticed that something is up. He quits Twitter suddenly, causing people to panic, and then rejoins Twitter quietly months later. He says he won't buy a Nintendo Switch 2, and then instantly buys one when it comes out. There was even that time he disavowed his longtime friend, Nuxtaku, but then he took the video down and apologized. Apparently he overreacted to a video criticizing him for watching lowly hentai with Nuxtaku, and not for anything else.
Wait, you showed more in those videos?
So immediately, that is one of the biggest eye-openers that you will immediately realize. Because I thought that was all the stuff he did. I thought that it was a video about how the second he gets any pushback, he completely folds. Whatever the internet thinks of him, he has to constantly dance and completely be a part of. He has to change his entire opinion. He has to do whatever it takes to make the internet happy. I thought that's what he was going to talk about. I mean, I thought that was going to be a main point. But when he just showed it to begin with, and said this is what people know him for, if you've been watching for the past year, I thought, oh my gosh, it gets worse than that? Because the title, I thought, okay, maybe that could be him just trying to get views, or maybe he's just trying to, like, egg on. But it's like, well, what else did he do? Bro, when you see what this video shows, it is actually wild.
Right now is a little appetizer I've cut out of its body of research, because it was getting too bloated as it is. Anyway, despite saying he would quit drama, not only did Mudahar return to drama, he decided to join forces with Ethan Klein to go after Hassan Piker. It's an odd choice because Ethan doesn't exactly have the highest opinion of Mudahar.
Do you have the part where Mudahar runs outside with a gun?
I don't, but
I'm like, dude, these people are insane. Boogie's not even the craziest one in that room still. There's a point where Mudahar goes, oh shit, is someone stealing my car? And he runs outside with a gun. And then he comes in 30 seconds later and goes, oh no, it's chill, it's just my brother.
Oh my god.
Like, this pseudo badass weird fucking shtick he's doing is not it. And frankly, he's so mean-spirited and nasty, and he has this weird thing where he needs to act like cool and that he's so successful and rich. He tells Boogie, dude, why don't you upload more? I upload every day and YouTube's not even my job. I was like, shut the fuck up, bro. I think he thinks his real job is being a day trader. I might be wrong about that, but I mean, that's pretty funny. But like, yes, it is. Shut up, bro. Uploading every day. Ugh, I really got turned off by Mudahar in that one, man.
So this is another point that I think is a complete bombshell, because it completely shows that Muda is just completely spineless, because he is willing to work with somebody and make content with somebody and join up with somebody who he knows doesn't like him. H3 is a somewhat big YouTuber. There was no way that Muda didn't know about the whole situation, especially considering that I refuse to believe Muda is sitting there and he's just completely, I didn't know about that. He completely knew. And also this timeline where H3 keeps getting like more and more stuff correct. He's like calling it, and then like later he finds out that he's right. Like, every 5 seconds, it's like, yep, he's right about that. Yep, he's right about that. Like, as somebody who doesn't like Ethan because of what he did in the past and his opinions on certain policies, seeing this is like, my goodness. The dude's a fortune teller. Even Kino Casino doesn't get this much right. Nah, I'm playing Kino Casino. Please do not make 10 videos about me. I love you, bro. Please.
YouTube. Those are pretty heavy accusations. But who has the time to watch through over a decade of videos and streams to check if he's telling a consistent story? I certainly don't, but I know a much faster way of achieving the same end result with only a few hours of effort. I can just search all of his video transcripts at once for certain keywords and timeline the claims he's made.
So, right now, I'm pausing to just go ahead and show you. The rest of this, I'm going to be jumping from place to place because it was a very long video. It was really well done, but it was a very long video. I'm going to be covering his constant lying, and I'm going to be covering a few things that I think are actually, like, the most important. So, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you it's going to be out of order. But I just want to go ahead and show you how many times this man has said that he was an engineer, that what type of engineer he was, what type of job he has, and then I am going to show you how that's a complete lie.
The information Mudahar has made public through pieces of media he's voluntarily published on his YouTube channel, or public media appearances he has consented to. I'm also using information from a video that shows his LinkedIn page, which is something he seems to be cool with. He can do whatever he wants in his private life, but if he's claiming to be a doctor or an engineer to make his perspectives more valuable to an audience, validating the truthfulness of these claims about his life become a matter of public interest. If a history channel was receiving undisclosed funding from a foreign state, publishing that information would be in the public interest, even if that knowledge was gained through violations of privacy. Violating someone's privacy to humiliate them by exposing their porn browsing habits would not be in the public interest. But I haven't gone there, and I don't need to.
So I'm showing that part of the video to show why this is so important. Because I know some people are like, oh, who cares if he's faking his job and faking what he knows. The reason that's a big deal is because he's using that as a way to try to claim that he knows more about what he's talking about, that you should take what he's saying with more credit, that this guy knows stuff and his insight is actually fruitful. And it really shows that he's no better than Pirate Software. But even outside of the Pirate Software scandal, Mudahar lying about this constantly really shows his character and how he shouldn't be trusted. And I think this guy bringing up that it's public interest to show when somebody's being a bad actor and when someone's lying about education that tries to make themselves look better, yeah, I think that's completely valid. A perfect example of why this should be public interest is this part of the video. Well, he shows that context that is very fruitful for this situation.
YouTube isn't my job. Thank God my job isn't YouTube.
YouTube is not my job. YouTube is not my job. YouTube is not my job.
YouTube is not my job.
YouTube is not my job.
I use YouTube as a hobby. This is not a job for me, okay?
He works a regular 9 to 5.
Like, I work a regular job every day. I go to my office, I work, I come home, I cut together the video that I recorded the night, or 2 nights or whatever before, and I post that on the internet. It is a therapeutic, fun thing for me.
Now, I would like to know, before we continue, I don't know if you noticed, but every single title of the videos where he says YouTube isn't my job, he is talking about a negative feature that affects YouTube channels, and he seems very concerned about it. Now, the guy who made the video does mention it, but he mentions it further along into like almost the end. But so I would just try to go ahead and point that out. Look at these titles as they are going by. I do not know. Maybe it's hindsight is 2020, but I don't know how nobody saw that and didn't think, well, that's weird. Why do you keep saying it's not your 9 to 5? But yet every time you talk about it having a negative effect, you seem visibly angry. Is it not a 9 to 5? And now, let's get to the 9 to 5 lie about that. Because, like, dude, knowing what we know now, I guess hindsight really is 20/20. But once you get to like the later half, it becomes completely clear. This like 9 to 5 job rabbit hole, he should have not tried to spew that live web.
Is that job? If you ask Mudahar's fans, they think he's a cybersecurity expert, an IT professional, a video editor. Ethan said, day trader. There seems to be an awful lot of uncertainty about this definitely real job that Mudahar has. Mudahar's also insisted throughout his career that he is an engineer.
I'm an engineer. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm a goddamn engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm only an engineer. Oh, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm just an engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm just a fucking engineer. I'm a goddamn engineer. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. As an engineer, being an engineer, I don't have to tell you as an engineer. I'm just a dumb engineer as an engineer. My engineer asked, but as an engineer, so I'm just a fucking dumb fucking engineer. Like I can tell her, like I'm an engineer, but I'm an engineer. As an engineer, I'm an engineer. As somebody that is an engineer, as an engineer. I'm saying I'm the number one engineer as an engineer. As an engineer. All right, as an engineer, I'm just an engineer. Speaking as somebody that is an engineer, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer.
But there's multiple types of engineers, so what kind of engineer is he?
I'm a fucking computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer. Dude, I'm a fucking computer engineer.
I'm a YouTuber. Why are you asking me?
And I'm just like a computer engineer by default.
Like, I'm a fucking computer engineer. I'm a fucking computer engineer. You want to talk about cyber warfare? I'm a computer engineer by trade. I'm a computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer. No, I'm a computer engineer, okay? I'm a fucking computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer. Video engineer now. I think I know how this shit fucking works. Speaking out of an engineer, like if I wasn't a computer science engineer, I wouldn't fucking speak about Elon being an idiot. But as an engineer, yeah, I'm gonna call him a fucking idiot because he does do idiotic statements. This is why, as a cybersecurity engineer,
A computer engineer is very much a real thing, but a video engineer or a broadcast engineer isn't a real professional engineer. While computer science graduates often work in software development, sometimes called software engineering, computer science isn't an engineering discipline. So computer science engineer doesn't really make sense. Cybersecurity engineer is once again using the word engineer as just a job title. Mudahar clearly wants the prestige of being perceived as an engineer, given that he's been calling himself an engineer for the past 10 years. And he uses this title to make himself more authoritative.
So this is something that I think he did a great job on, because this shows this guy is completely lying. He keeps changing what type of engineer he is, and he keeps using it as a way to try to make what he says sound better. And also, I'm gonna show you something that he says that I didn't even know about. So technically,
in the United States, people throw around the word engineer like candy, but in Canada, it's a bit more protected, especially in Ontario where Mudahar lives. Now, I do want to give the disclaimer that I'm not a lawyer or a Canadian. I'm just a guy who looks stuff up online, and based on what I've read, it's actually illegal to call yourself an engineer if you are not a licensed engineer. The Ontario Engineering Regulatory Body, Professional Engineers Ontario, claims to take offense to even titles like software engineer being used instead of software developer, but they do make an exception for terms like train engineer, broadcast engineer, or sound engineer, which are not professional engineers in the same way that a computer engineer or a civil engineer would.
now I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, we need to lock Mudahar up, but it is kind of funny that allegedly the guy turned out to be he's doing kind of weird stuff, bro. And also, this wouldn't have happened if he just didn't lie about his education. But now, because he lied about it, he has to deal with it. Isn't that just sad? If you think, oh, well, maybe he's not using it to try to make his opinion sound better, the guy shows a compilation of him doing exactly that.
but I'm an engineer. I know how this stuff is going, so I'm not even speaking out of pocket right here, okay? If you want to disagree with me, feel free, but you're actually wrong. As somebody who is a computer, engineer, somebody who understands computer code, for instance, hearing Elon talk about computers and anything code related is actually mind-bogglingly stupid.
That's diabolical! Bro showed actual videos of him trying to be like, oh, well, if you disagree with me, you're wrong. I know about computers. And then it just gets exposed. No, you don't know about computers at all. And then on top of that, you might be thinking, okay, well, maybe the guy has an education. Maybe he went to the school of Indian Scammer. Maybe he went to something like a school like that, right? This man goes in on his education. Muda is never beating the Indian Scammer as allegation after this one.
it's not clear what kind of an engineer he is. So, what education does he have?
Like, it's a really good explanation of why, like, I picked engineering as, like, the road to go down when I was studying. I'm like...
So, he would have an engineering degree.
I went to university for computer sciences, and that's it. Education background, asking because a lot of CS knowledge. Yeah, well, I did computer engineering when I fucking went to college. That's what I did.
Okay, so at least a computer science degree.
I thought when I got into university for a while, and I dropped out like a semester in because I was like, okay, no.
Oh, he dropped out after a semester.
Like, I'm a dropout myself. I've never finished university, but I'm not going to dog on like school. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to learn to be valuable. Yeah, if you're going to be an engineer, if you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, if you're going to be in the STEM field, you need to go to university, okay?
You need to go to university to be an engineer, but Mudahar is a dropout. He has no degree.
Were you a computer science major? Yeah, that's what I went to for college for a little bit, dropped out of it, you know? I feel like there's a weird misconception. People think I'm like some fucking crazy degree holder. It's like, no. No, I would have been way more in fucking university debt if I went down that fucking route.
I sure wonder why people might have that impression.
Is it bad if you don't get a STEM degree? Look, I'm gonna sound biased as fuck, but STEM degrees all the way. I'm gonna sound biased because, you know, as an engineer, like, you know, you want to get the degree that's gonna get you a job, you know, a good job. Not saying other degrees can't, but like, you gotta be smart.
At this point, he's dead. Okay, the whole education, the engineer is dead. Okay, we get it. Stop it! He's already dead! But what's funny is that you can clearly see that it's just a lie. It's like, okay, so what engineer are you? I'm a software engineer. No, I'm this type of engineer. Okay, so what did you go for school for? I went to school for all these different things. Okay, how did it go? I dropped out after 1 year. After 1 semester. What? And this is like, okay, as somebody who's going to college, that means he did not get a single class about what he was going for. Absolute idiot. And then on top of that, now he's trying to claim, oh, I'm an engineer. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil something. The only thing this guy has is a diplomacy in video making. That's it. Now we got that out of the way, that he doesn't have any education, that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's get to the jobless accusations. And let's just go ahead and wham into it. This is the final part of the video I'm going to show of him, because everything else I didn't want to talk about because he did such an amazing job talking about it. Let's get to it.
Mudahar claimed to be an exceptionally successful day trader.
Now, for those of you who don't know, one of my side hobbies turned basic, you know, general second profession of mine is day trading, swing trading, whatever you want to call it. I like to sit in the mornings, sip my coffee, you know, go on the NASDAQ, see what I can look pre-market, buy, sell, and be done by, what, 11 or something, and call it a day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's something that I've been doing for almost a year, give a couple months, and it's definitely a very, like, it's a fun part of my lifestyle. I'm a very mathy guy. I do a lot of calculations in my head. I lose money, but I generally have an 80-85% success rate, and that's just the nature of this stuff.
In 2021, he claimed his job was trading and investing.
My job right now, I just sit around and trade and invest. That's what my job is.
But he was still an engineer, or a computer engineer. Apparently his dad calls him an engineer who knows computers.
I'm sitting in the room, it's like, when it comes to computers, do you talk about it with my son? Do you act like an intelligent person? Because my son's a fucking engineer, okay? If I'm wrong about computers, I'm gonna believe what my son says, because he's the fucking engineer, not a doctor. Like, fucking insane, dude.
But he also just sits at home and invests money.
I invest, that's my job now. I just sort of sit home and invest money.
Now, if I was ashamed of only being a YouTuber, that is the job I'd be claiming to have. When asked by guests on his podcast about his computer work, he claimed it's only a hobby now.
So as you can see, he's just a day trader. Okay, now early on, he tries to claim that he's the CEO of a company and they do all these video stuff. I don't really care about that at that point, because he tries to sit there and say at one point that he's professional about it, then he says later on, a few years ago, that you know, he makes inappropriate jokes about who's gonna die next, like what content creator's gonna die next. Like, the guy is just in my opinion, he's just a liar, okay? And then on top of lying, which I think is kind of scummy if you're gonna do that to your audience, is that not only did bro sit there and lie about having a job, but then he literally was like on podcasts talking about how, oh, well, he's so busy, he does all this work, he works until like 4 p.m. and then he starts doing video editing, which is what he said. And it's one of those things where it's like, Muda, uploading a video a day is not really a brag. That takes like a few minutes. This video right now has took me like a lot of hours, but this is a long video. It takes me only like a few like minutes to make a slop video. So it's like, with all disrespect included, this isn't hard work. And then the guy even mentions, it's like, okay, if you really are doing all this hard work, then why are you so impressed with Destiny, who's too lazy to cook his own meals? And on top of that, it's like he was talking about, oh, well, his dad is like so proud of him because, oh, he's a computer engineer. And it's like, if you're going to lie to your parents about what job you have, okay, but like, you're gonna lie to your audience and then try to get them to believe you based off a lie you said? But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. Go check the guy out. He makes really good content, and yeah, I'll see ya. And if Mudahar responds and he just double downs on everything, or he just completely like gives in, I'll let you know. See ya.